Warm welcome to our preview show for the race meeting at Turffontein on the Standside track, Tuesday the 3rd of June, the first of 9 races due at 11:40. We kick off with the Pinnacle Stakes over 2,400 metres. Rather unusual start to the race meeting. On the line, as always, for the Highveld race meetings, Alistair Cohen. Alistair, all good at your side?
Yep, all good. Thanks, Graham. I trust it's all good on your side too. It's crunch week going into the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Obviously, on Saturday, Hollywoodbets Greyville's got the Gold Challenge, the Hong Kong World Pool Tabashina Stakes. Nice to have the World Pools commingling with us for the first time this champion season, but not the last. And the Hollywoodbets Dolphins Cup Trial. I suppose the Gold Challenge, those horses pretty much know their fate going into the July, but the Cup Trial will be a moment of opportunity. And then a day later at Turffontein with the Jubilee Stakes. So at the time of recording, 48 names going still in the hat for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but I reckon this time next week there'll be far less than 48, with quite a few probably having their hopes dashed. So an exciting week, and we actually kick off with an exciting card at Turffontein, as you mentioned, probably a little bit back to front in terms of the structure, but you can totally understand why with a small field to kick off proceedings. But yeah, nice little card. This not the most straightforward in a couple of races, but there are a few horses that I think many punters will be keen to rally their days around.
So the opener over 2,400 metres, Pinnacle Stakes, a field of 8, and the betting number 1, Nebras, short-priced favourite, 14-10. Number 2, Silent War at 6-1. 5 2 Miles West 5-1, 6 United Council 9-2, 7 Explosive Bond 8-1, and 8 Fetching Flyer at 8-1. Those are the runners quoted in single figures. How are you leaning in the opener, Alistair?
Graham, I think it's a race in 3, and I'm a little bit sceptical about the dynamics of this race. The horse that I'm going to tip on top is number 6 United Council. Gavin Lorena on board for Robbie Sage. 2 miles last time might not quite have got home. I don't think she quite saw out the trip over 3,200 in the Gold Bowl last time. So I know she is held by Nebras on that last run. But you also got to bear in mind that Nebras comes into a sort of happy place. He is a Gold Cup winner over 2 miles. So the 8-year-old, was great to see him back on track and run those 2 races that he's put up since coming back from Cape Town. Even in Cape Town, he was putting up wonderful performances. But I think Sean Terry's probably got his eye on the Gold Bars and the Gold Cup dates of the season, so this run will bring him along, whereas United Council probably from here going to target a race like the Oaks or Derby at Hollywoodbets Scottsville in just a few weeks from now. So I think that she's probably just one run closer to the peak, and also this trip is just going to serve her a little bit better. So I think if she doesn't turn around in the brush, go very, very close to turning it around. The other horse who comes into the discussion is number 7 Explosive Bond. Obviously penultimate start 1,400 was just miles too short. Last time, a disappointing run. She's a lot better than that, with horses that she's been in and around for the last 12 months running a lot closer to the winners, so we can excuse her for that last run, and by virtue of the apprentice allowance she comes into the picture, number 7 Explosive Bond. Also a mention for number 4 Armagam, who will be more at home over 2,400 metres, but might also come into his own over a little bit further. I don't think Silent War's got the game for a mile and a half. We shall see, but in summarising, I'm going to go 6 from 1 and then 7 to kick things off in that order.
6, 1 and 7, Alistair's selections in the first race, 2,400 metres, and a reminder, of course, early start 11:40, the off time for the first race. 2, the exotics get underway. The Bipot, it's a maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 11:60. The Bipot closes at 12:15. We have the one scratching, number 6, Let's Go Lola. That was a winner at Hollywoodbets Scottsville over the weekend. Favourite is a newcomer, number 11, Queen of Pearls at 22-10. Number 3, Cherry Lady is at 3-1. Number 5, Kahala Y is at 11-2, along with number 10, One Summer at 11-2. Now, of course, the Tote recently changed their rules as far as the Bipot is concerned. And if the first 2 placings are filled by first-timers, then the first previously raced horse will count as well. This being the first leg of the Bipot and a couple of first-timers well in the market. The 2 that have run are numbers 3, Cherry Lady, and number 10, One Summer. How do we structure the first leg of our Bipot, given the new rules, Alistair?
Well, with that in mind, Graham, I suppose number 10, One Summer, gets an automatic bipod entry. There was nothing between Cherry Lady and One Summer. When I say nothing between, there was about 2 lengths between One Summer and Cherry Lady when they met 17 days earlier. But with that in mind, it's not the pedigree way to ready them up first time out. There was a touch of support on number 10, One Summer. And for me, she seemed to stay on quite nicely at the end. And I think she can turn it around with number 3, Cherry Lady, who is also improving at a good rate, and she's drawn on what's perceived to be the right side of the track. Although on a dry track at Turffontein, I think that any advantage is pretty much evaporated. So I think from a race runner perspective, even though that there are only 4 race runners in the race, I think you're going to be pretty safe with just the 2 of them, numbers 3 and 10. But I do think number 10 can turn the form around. But Graham, I think this race does set up for a first timer. Talk about Candice's runner, number 1, A Bit of Class. She's a nice little filly. Hopeful that she can get into the top 4. I'll be surprised if she won, because she's looking to go a mile plus. But her work is very, very encouraging at home. But like I said, to expect to win over 1160, probably just putting the cart before the horse. But expect her to be doing her best work later and hopefully getting into the money. But then the 2 other first timers, obviously you mentioned the one at the top of the boards, number 11, Queen of Pearls. Her genetics just appeal. The trainer makes appeal. The jockey makes appeal. And a grade 1 win on return. Outside draw makes appeal as well. She'll also be more effective over further, being out of a Tiger Ridge mare and also being by Hawam. I think many trainers are putting their hopes on him coming alive over the extra distance. Certainly looks like it's trending that way. But to see her at the top of the boards was no surprise. And also, I've heard a little whisper about number 8, Mum Lumbo for Hollywood Racing. Heather Adamson trains, Marco van Rensburg takes her ride. Heather's yard's in good form, and Heather's made no bones about the fact that she's got a Hollywood horse that she thinks quite a bit of. So watch the market, watch her go down to the start before forming an opinion.
Okay, and of course, Mum Lambo is by Canford Cliffs, sire of Direct Hit. So we'll watch the betting with regards to number 8, Mum Lambo, particularly as far as the exactas, trifectas, quartets are concerned. But bear in mind the first-time rule, which has been now brought in as far as the bipod is concerned. So if you want to play it safe in the first leg of the bipod, number 3, Cherry Lady, and number 10, One Summer. Those make most appeal, but watch the betting on the newcomers. Race 3, the first leg of the place accumulator, which is Alistair's Bet of Choice. It's a maiden juvenile plate over 1,160 metres. It's off at 12.50. Number 2, Carnarvon, is at 6-1. Number 3, Chap Book is at 5-1. There's been a lot of money around in the anti-post market for number 6, Jan van Goyen. That's in from 7-1 to 15-4. Number 8, Palace Attacker, ran 4th on debuts at 5-2. Number 9, Royal Jacket at 8-1. 11, Tigers Captain, 15-2. And number 12, Winterbell, 7-1. So the favourite is number 8, Palace Attack at 5-2. But there's a lot of form to go around and an interesting newcomer, Alistair.
Absolutely. I think it's a very intriguing race for all the right reasons, with a whole lot of these horses that have form, bringing some appealing form. And I can give you a little heads up. There's more than just a whisper out about number 6, Jan van Goyen, but drawn towards the inside. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of speed in that pedigree. There's the likes of Barbosa, who was a very talented sprinter with Dennis Dreyer roughly a decade ago from that family, number 6, Jan van Goyen. But not too sure about him drawn towards the inside. But like I said, and like the market suggests, there is quite a lot of talk about him. But I've sidestepped him in the place accumulator. I've gone with 3 race runners. I've gone with Fire Attack's half-brother, number 8, Palace Attack, who put up a lovely debut. There were very low expectations about him first time out. I was at Turffontein. I spoke to Gary Batel and expecting him to run nasty, but not sort of get close over a sprint. But I think the way that he ran, one of those encouraging runs where he hit the line with quite a bit in hand, he'll come on a lot. He was slowly away from the stalls. He's got any amount of improvement to come. Number 9, Royal Jacket, ran very interesting run of this to discuss. I don't know where we are distance-wise. A lot of speed from the female side. Being by Ideal World, you'd anticipate the Gold Cup's probably a target. But his debut over 1,100 metres was fair behind One Fine Winter. We know what One Fine Winter is all about. And for me, his last start behind Tenjiku was very encouraging as well. I think Tenjiku is out the top draw. I think he's got a lot of wins to come. I know that the horses who finished in front of him, Red Light, Green Light's just about ready to win. The 3rd horse, Mighty Eagle, was fresh off a win and was punted to the exclusion of the others last time out. So there's got to be be some sort of substance to number 9, Royal Jacket, and expecting him to run well. But I'm a little bit circular, never ending about my opinion about him dropping back in distance. But no way among, he's got to have some sort of idea of what he's trying to achieve here. And then number 12, Winter Bell, to travel here to Hollywoodbets Scottsville in a feature race on debut. And I know that the connections were bitterly disappointed that she ran like she did. But the reports are that she's above average, number 12, Winter Bell. So we expect better with a 6 allowance and drawn towards the outside. They expect her to step up big time from her first start. So 8, 9, and 12 for me on the first leg of the place accumulator. And I'm a little bit sketchy about the form of Victory in Orleans. Went off at 100 to 1 to win on debut. Funny enough, Carnarvon and Chapbook from that form line, they did heat it for 5th on that occasion. So there should be little to choose between them, but Chapbook might have a little bit more scope to improve. But I don't know what I think of that form line. 100 to 1 winner leaves me scratching my head.
Okay, so let's go on to the 4th race, the opening leg of the pick 6. It's a maiden juvenile plate once again, but now they go 1,600 metres. First leg of the pick 6 off at 13.25. We have an odds-on favourite in the anti-post market. Number 2, Golden Warrior at 9 to 10. Number 4, Master Spy at 5 to 2. Number 8, Rejuvenate at 3 to 1. The balance are at 14 to 1 and better. It's a small field of 8. Golden Warrior, the one to beat, Alistair?
Yeah, he should be, Graham. I think only 2 horses can win, but Golden Warrior brings very strong Whispering Death form into the picture. The second start to Whispering Death has provided a lot of fireworks. See, Golden Warrior, although finishing nearly 6 lengths behind Whispering Death, it's not a bad effort under the circumstances. Winners from that form, just as I call up that form line, include Whispering Death himself, Chronicle King, who beat Golden Warrior last time coming back from a break, and also Mighty Eagle, who we've just mentioned. And then further down the page, a horse called Oklahoma Smoke Show, in very, very close during the week, and there's got to be a winner in waiting. And even from the second start behind Whispering Death, Ideal Summers continued a very positive curve. And then we got Royal Jacket, who we've just spoken about, from that form line as well. So the numbers don't lie. They stack up very positively. Draw 1 going to be a big advantage. He had the hot favourite Chronicle King on the stretch last time, who just came back from a break and was very fresh and very eager, but he's a very nice horse, Chronicle King. And I like to believe that number 2, Golden Warrior, is going to be well set up to get out the maidens here. If someone troubles him, it will be number 4, Master Spy, patently too short on debut over 11.60. Ran on very nicely. Again, the Victory in Orleans form line, there's nothing to speak of at the moment, and my gut feel is that it's not going to be the most sparkling piece of form in South African racing history. But Master Spy, I think you've got to give a lot of respect to stepping up in distance. He could improve enough, and certainly the biggest, and for me the only danger, to number 2, Golden Warrior.
So there we go. Golden Warrior is certainly a worthy favourite for the opening leg of the pick 6. The only danger, perhaps, number 4, Master Spy. Race 5, first leg of Jackpot 1. It's a maiden plate over 1,600 metres. It looks a pretty competitive maiden plate. Here's how they are betting. Number 1, Phil the Fluter, 3 to 1. Number 2, Chieftain Shield at 9 to 2. 5, Curtis Condor at 4 to 1. 7, Mirror Flexion at 5 to 1. Number 8, Enquenquezi at 9 to 1. And the marginal favourite is number 9, Fire Starter at 28 to 10. Callan Murray riding for the De Kock team, number 9, Fire Starter, from a neat draw. Only had the 2 starts under the belt, whereas Phil the Fluter is somewhat more experienced. Take us through race 5, Alistair.
Tricky race, Graham. I've got numbers 5 and 9 on my place accumulator, and to be honest, I'm pretty satisfied that those are the 2 as far as the pick 6 is concerned. I mean, Chieftain Shield's a professional maiden, an 18-start maiden who got blinkers on for the first time, so maybe that's a little bit of an opportunity to think about the son of Verse and Getrix and to perhaps consider including him. And Phil the Fluter is just a model of consistency, but beaten at 9 to 10 at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, and for me, what was a fairly weak field. And I don't, again, going back to what I don't think will be a wonderful form line, that's behind Molotov Cocktail, but they do look like they're ready to go fairly well. But 5 and 9, I think the winner comes from one of those, Graham. I'm going to lean towards number 5, Curtis Condor here. He absolutely hated the inside track last time. He's such a big son of Lancaster Bomber, and those tight turns and forever going around a turn just didn't suit him. He never looked comfortable. He did well to run second behind Mighty Eagle. He got first run, and Curtis Condor never stopped him. But going a mile for the first time, draw one on a galloping track, I think he's very well set up here, number 5, Curtis Condor, and he's the horse that I'm going to lean towards. I thought that Firestarter was a tad underwhelming last time out of the Val over a mile. I expected him to go quite close to Chronicle King. I don't think he's all that bad. His debut, he stayed on very nicely behind Ichacha. I think he's going to come into his own as well as time goes on. He just looks like a horse who's just waiting for a little bit of time and a bit of maturity. And once that's on his side, you might see a few good performances from number 9 Firestarter, which should include a win. If he puts that last run behind, well, again, I don't think the race was run to suit when he ended up in front in a small field by default. With a little bit of cover, he could be a bit more effective, and I'm expecting him to run a lot better, number 9 Firestarter. But if you were to force me to have a win bet here, it would definitely be on number 5 Curtis Condor. I just think that he's in the right time, at the right place, the right maturity, and the right track as well.
And a bit of value to be had about number 5, Curtis Condor, at around 4-1. He looks an appealing bet. 9 Firestarter, worth noting, he went for a walk in the market last time from 14 to 10 out to 5-1 before running a distant third. So keep an eye on the market. Curtis Condor is the one for Alistair. Race 6 is a maiden plate, fillies and mares, 1,600 metres, being a 9-race card, the first leg of Jackpot 2. Number 1 Intro is at 6-1. Number 6 Lava Lamp is at 5-2. Number 7 Bold Action at 9-2. Number 8 Ethical, Candace Dawson trains. That's at the top of the boards at 2-1. And number 9, Fire on Fire, is at 8-1, also with only 2 runs under the belt. Now, number 8, Ethical, is a 2-year-old daughter of Heavenly Blue. Obviously, this is a maiden plate. Coming up against 3 and 4-year-olds is Ethical. But Alistair, she's improved with each and every outing.
Yep, she's a place accumulator banker, of that there's no doubt. She just got run off her feet last time on the Turffontein inside track where Reflective got first run, and she was left to do the chasing, and she chased, but she chased in vain. She should go very, very close. Candace has got a few nice runners this week, and I'd say Ethical certainly the best on the card here. So I think that well, Musi was very quick on the phone to retain the ride on this daughter of Heavenly Blue. He got off last time and just said, the Reflective got first run. Very nice run. We've got a future with number 8 Ethical, and she should just about win soon. The reason why I'd hesitate to make her a pick 6 banker, though, is funny enough, Bold Action finished in front of her behind Ideal Summer. There was a length in it. I would argue that Ethical was still a little bit immature, a little bit underdone going into that second start. So I think she's improved enough to motivate that. She's probably going to turn that form around, but still the numbers stack up that Bold Action should give her something to think about. And also Bold Action tried older horses, males over 1,800 metres last time with 51.5. Pioneer Square won to the exclusion of the others on that occasion. I suppose it wasn't a terrible effort. Now gets Gavin Larena on board. So very wary about number 7, Bold Action, and I'd recommend putting her into the pick 6. Of the others, maybe number 6, Lava Lamp, got to have a say. The form line behind Cape Saffron makes for very interesting reading. There have been 3 direct winners, horses that have been well beaten, and horses who were just, hanging on the coattails of Cape Saffron have done nothing. Honor Jet Plane has won, Reflective has won, so there's an indirect line of form, with Reflective finishing behind Lava Lamp, and then Reflective beating Ethical, so there's a little bit of food for thought. Maybe Lava Lamp worth more of a chance than what I'm giving her. And Red Sparrow, who won a Work Riders race, came out and won an even Arctic Silver, who dropped the saddlebag subsequently and then went and won a maiden thereafter. Also got to be a horse that, there's definitely a horse that's won from that form line. So maybe a little bit more complex than what I made it, but I think Ethical will definitely run into the top 3 here, Graham, and she's got a strong winning chance.
Ethical to continue to improve, the 2-year-old daughter of Heavenly Blue, but expect competition from the likes of number 6, Lava Lamp, and number 7, Bold Action, as we move on to race number 7, which is a competitive MR96 handicap over 1,800 metres. Number 1, Bacchus, is at 9-2. Number 6, Jordan, is at 5-1. Number 7, DJ Junior, is at 6-1. Number 11, Count Hutiku, is at 28-10. We have a field of 12. This is the first leg of the final pick 3. It goes at 3:15. Alistair, over to you.
Nice little race this, Graham. Bacchus is obviously the best horse in the race, pound for pound, of his rating of 100. He's a 3-year-old that has run and he has got the numbers that stack up that on and do a few good things. However, his behaviour last time before the race on the 17th of May was nothing short of deplorable, and I think he cost himself when he gave away 2 lengths at the start. He played up before the race. He really gave Gavin Larena a hard time. If Fabian Habib can iron out those behaviour issues and get into focus and be the horse that he can be, then there's no reason why Bacchus can't go in a streak. So I'd include him, but I'm not mad about him, just simply on what I saw. I'd like to see a horse that's sort of cool, composed, and doing things properly before we really give him the benefit of the doubt. But I certainly wouldn't be writing him off. In the place accumulators, 6, 7, and 11 are my numbers. Number 6, Jordan, is the starting point. I really liked him last time. Then he cast a shoe before the race, and I defaulted to Claw, and Jordan went and won with Contemptuous Ease. His rating had dropped from a mark that was once as high as 97, and he had dropped down to an 82. He'd been given £5 for his efforts last time, but he actually won with a lot in hand over 2,000 metres on the inside track. From that form, the 3rd horse, Claw, came out and won. The 4th horse, Vesuvio, came out and won. So that all sparks up and should give expectation of a good run from number 6, Jordan, despite a deep draw. Number 7, DJ Junior, just for pure consistency and effort, has to be included as well. You know what you're going to get from this horse. He got penalised for being a loser last time, which I'm never a fan of, and that was an apprentice handicap, which was quite a messy run race, but DJ Junior still ran nicely in defeat behind Dark Silver. And then number 11, Count Sutiku. Graham, very interesting run of this. He ran in the Derby for some reason, and he was well beaten, and he still got penalised for being beaten nearly 20 lengths by Legend of Arthur, but he came back to calmer waters last time with 52.5 and ran less than a length behind Claw, and I feel that had that race been an extra 200 metres, he might have got the better of Claw, and here we are over an extra 200 metres, and 3-year-old that's got low mileage on the clock could be improving enough to give them something to think about. Number 11, Count Sutiku. No real value as far as the market is concerned at 5-2, but it's no mystery why he's at 5-2. He's got a lot more to come, and he could be the most interesting horse in the race.
Race 7, as you heard there from Alistair, quite competitive. It's an MR96 handicap over 1,800 metres. Should be a really good race as we move on to another good race. The 8th race, the first leg of the final double, due off at 15.50. It's another Pinnacle Stakes, this time over 1,160 metres. The runners quoted in single figures. Number 1, Ready to Charge, 17-2. The odds-on favourite is number 2, Buffalo Storm Cody, who's undefeated, 2 from 2 since being gelded. Goes for 3 in a row. Number 6, Quantum Theory, is at 8-1. And the second choice in the market is number 9, Yamadori, at 15-2, a good winner over Passage of Power last time out. So, one of the key runners on this program, without any question, Alistair, is number 2, Buffalo Storm Cody, particularly as far as the way we structure our pick sixes is concerned. Do we go all in with number 2, Buffalo Storm Cody?
Can't fault him on what he's done since being gelded, Graham. My answer to that is yes. I think he'll be hard to beat. He won with his head in his chest on return from a gelding on the 20th of March. He won by 8 1/4 lengths in the process, obliterating Grand Crescendo, who, by the way, is going to run a nice race here. I think he can get into the top 4. His work is what it was when he was a promising youngster. But turn around 18 lengths with Buffalo Storm Cody, that's very unlikely to happen. So Buffalo Storm Cody, again, last time out, despite hanging in and probably trying his best to give all the horses in behind an opportunity to chase him. It was almost like a game of cat and mouse that Buffalo Storm Cody knew he wasn't going to get beaten. But still, just on what he's done since being gelded, he looks like he's emerging as a really promising sprinter. He's got the attributes of being a promising sprinter, going in the right direction. Since being gelded, he hasn't looked back. And despite the fact that he takes on a live field, there's some very good young sprinters in here. Ready to Charge is no mug. Danton from Santon, the good horse. Dreamland always punches above his weight. I've got all the time in the world for him. As mentioned, expecting Grand Crescendo to run a far better race again. Quantum Theory's consistent. Give me another chance. We know what he's all about, although he's not at his best. Sheldon's capable. Yamadori, fresher for win. Tropo Veloce is always dangerous. But Buffalo Storm Cody is just trending in the right direction, Graham. I see him as a very, very hard horse to beat, and he's probably the horse that many are going to revolve that day around.
8th race, there we go. Key horse of the day, number 2, Buffalo Storm Cody, going out to retain his unbeaten record this calendar year, and as a gelding, looking for 3 on the bounce, and will be a popular banker. But as you heard there from Alistair, There are a couple that he's coming up against that can certainly run and wouldn't be winning out of turn. The ninth and final goes at 16.25. It's a fillies and mares 90 handicap over 1,160 metres. Number 1 Pointer is at 8-1. Number 2 Kindred Heart is at 5-1. 5 Hong Kong, a weak market leader at 4-1. Number 6 Blizzard Snow at 9-2. And number 9 Exceedingly Glam at 7-1. Those are the runners quoted in single figures. It is a competitive race, as suggested by the betting, which sees number 5 Hong Kong top of the boards at 4-1. Renews rivalry with number 6 Blizzard Snow's got 2 lengths to find. What are we expecting, Alistair?
Of the two, I'm expecting Blizzard Snow to hold number 5 Hong Kong. Blizzard Snow came from in front of Hong Kong and ran the finish out of Hong Kong. I see no reason why that form is suddenly going to turn around. As you mentioned, Hong Kong comes in here with a very pleasing weight turnaround, but she's just failed to fire up since getting out the maiden. She was, I think, unlucky at her penultimate start when there was a lot of talk and expectation about Hong Kong. She just ran into a little bit of a pocket and was let out late, and she stayed on well. But last time I thought Blizzard Snow had her number regardless, and on the back of a £3 penalty, I think she might be able to retain number 5 Hong Kong. Number 2 on the card, Kindred Heart, goes into the play as well. She's just consistent. Her penultimate start against Boys was full of merit when she defeated Secret Chord. Callan Murray takes her out for James Crawford. James having his first winner in the final race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Sunday with Chasing the Rainbow. So he is officially on the board by himself in the big bad world as James. Kindred Heart should go well, but Graham, there's a horse here at a price who I think represents a lot of value. I think she's got a strong winning chance here. Number 3, Simply Majestic. I like her chances a lot. Her last start, where she was well beaten by Cosmic Queen, but in that race included Whistle the Junior, ran 5th at Grade 1 level on Saturday, and a few other horses who have tasted feature race opposition. And penultimate starts at Buffalo Storm Cody. I know she had a light weight, but with Boys, her ratings come down from a once 102 to an 87. This is a big rating strike for me, number 3, Simply Majestic, and I think that if she does bring her A game, she could actually win the race. So I'm gonna lean towards her from an each way perspective at 14-1. I think she's gonna go particularly well. And guess what? She's also got the uncanny yet proven cross of Canford Cliffs out of a Great Britain mare. How Craig Carey stumbled upon that, I don't know, but it's producing big race winners left, right, and centre. And Simply Majestic's already done the business and got a little bit of small black type throughout her career. So I think that there's a lot of value about her. I think that she's running against the right type of opposition to see her come back with a bang. This is the weakest that she's run against ever.
So there we go, number 3, Simply Majestic, representing a lot of value. Alistair going each way, number 3, Simply Majestic, at the time of recording, which, as you know, is the morning of the day before, quoted at around 14-1. You certainly can't get hurt. And this is also the final leg of the pick 6 and place accumulator. So certainly don't ignore the chances of number 3, Simply Majestic. And talking about the place accumulator, that is the bet of choice for Alistair Cohen. His perm will appear on the screen in just a moment. Alistair, take us through it.
Graham, after talking through that meeting, I'm more excited for this card. I'm actually really looking forward to it. So the first leg of the PA starts at 12.50, 8, 9 and 12 in the first leg. Palace Attack, Royal Jacket and Winter Bell. By Banker 2, Golden Warrior, I don't think he can miss the top 3. By 5 and 9, Curtis Condor and Fire Starter. By Banker 8, Ethical. Then 6, 7 and 11, Jordan, DJ Junior and Crown Hutiku. By Banker 2, Buffalo Storm Cody. And then the final leg, 2, 3 and 6, Kindred Heart, Simply Majestic and Blizzard Snow to round off the PA.
2, 3 and 6 in the final leg of the place accumulator. But we can have a nice little each-way touch on number 3, Simply Majestic, in the last. As always, Alistair, thank you very much for your valuable contribution, your time and your passion. And here's to a good week ahead.
Yep, same to you, Graham. Same to all the punters, all the racing followers. It's going to be a great week of that, there's no doubt.
Thanks for joining us. Till next time, God bless.